Our today's topic is Ajnana or ignorance. Ajnana or ignorance. Though it doesn't depend on the class or the study, we are always in that. But discrimination is needed. Without discrimination, we can't know the swarupa of Ajnana. If we want to remove anything else from us, if we want to win over the battle, we have to have a good knowledge about our enemy. So, in that, for that reason, now we will discuss about Ajnanam or ignorance. According to Vedanta philosophy, Brahman, which is one and without a second, and is of the nature of existence, knowledge, and bliss, is real, is only reality and only substance. The only reality, the only substance. All material objects are unreal and unsubstantial. They are the products of ignorance. How is it that one takes the material universe and its object to be real? How have substantial names and forms come into existence? If ultimate reality is one, why do we see the relative world and its multiplicity? What is the relationship between the one and the many? The absolute and the relative? These are the most puzzling questions of philosophy, and thinkers from time out of mind have proposed varying replies. Some believe in the creation of the universe by an external power called God, after the manner of the production of a pot by a potter, or a piece of furniture by a carpenter, or a piece of bangle by a goldsmith. Some believe that God or the power itself has become the universe, and that the cause of the universe does not lie outside it. Again, according to some extreme non-dualists, like our most revered Gaudapada ji, he thinks there has never been any creation at all. Brahman alone exists, and all that is perceived is Brahman alone. If a man says that he sees the universe of multiplicity, he is actually the victim of an illusion For when truth is known, duality doesn't exist. If names and forms really existed, one should be able to connect them by some such relationship as cause and effect or substance and attributes. But Gaudapadacharya ji, in his commentary on Mandukya Upanishad, known as Mandukya Karika, admirably refuted all the evidence of relationships and established the view that no real creation ever took place. Everything that exists being in reality the non-dual Brahman. The manifold universe has no existence because it is not perceived when that supreme knowledge is attained. But according to Shankaracharya ji, the universe of names and forms cannot be denied as a fact of everyday experience for people under the spell of ignorance. He is really emphatic, however, that from the standpoint of Brahman, it is totally non-existent. The mirage is a fact for people who are victims of the illusion in a desert. Even though no moisture inheres in the dry sands. A man sees in semi-darkness only a harmless rope, yet he may firmly believe that it is a snake and nothing else. The snake is very real to him. The dream experiences are real to the dreamer. So, likewise, names and forms are real to those who are devoid of true knowledge. Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji does not place these three experiences of the relative world, namely illusion, dreams, and the waking state, in the same category. Illusions, dreams, and the waking state. The waking experiences certainly possess more reality than the other two. It's true. But from the standpoint of the absolute, all three are equally unreal. But from the standpoint of the absolute. Again, Shankaracharya ji does not like some, does not uphold subjective idealism like some Buddhistic philosophers. See, from the standpoint of transactional world, from the standpoint of waking state, if we consider the waking state is real, then everything is real. Then this my body is real, everything is real. And their God is real, and you have to do your puja, upasana, prayers. Everything is real. And through that we will go to the path of absolute. But from the standpoint of Brahman, standpoint of absolute, everything, there is no everything. There is no names and no forms. Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji does not believe that the individual soul or ego creates the non-ego or the universe. Okay. On account of cosmic illusion, the ego and the non-ego come into existence and a fictitious relationship is established. Clear? It's a blending. Because again the thing, Gita sloka, na sato vidyate bhavaha, na bhavo vidyate sata. Same thing. It must be understood that fundamentally there is no difference between the philosophical views of Gaudapada Charyaji and Shankaracharyaji. Gaudapada Charyaji has written his philosophy from the standpoint of Brahman and has therefore declared the world to be non-existent. Whereas Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji discusses the universe from the standpoint of Maya, where it is seen to be real and shows the way to the realization of Brahman. According to Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji, a man cannot ignore the universe as long as he sees it, nor can he deny his relationships with other human beings or the various objects of the world as long as they appear to be real. And surely they are real to him if he is conscious of the reality of his own individual ego and of the universe around him. Therefore, as long as a man sees multiplicity, the various names and forms, he must work, pray, worship, reap the result of his action, and experience happiness and unhappiness. Clear? In that state, he cannot disregard the distinction between morality and immorality. The observance of moral moral law brings him a reward and the opposite punishment. According to Shankaracharya ji, the validity of the scriptures, the usefulness of scriptural disciplines, and in short, all the injunctions of religion and morality are based upon a recognition of the reality of the phenomenal world. But from the standpoint of Brahman, they are utterly meaningless. Now the question is, how can the absolute have become or have produced the relative? How can Atma, which is nothing but Brahman, identify itself with the perishable body, the senses, and the ego? This is a real question because Brahman is attributeless, nirguna, nirakara, formless, without any activity. It is sakshi matra, only the ultimate seer or ultimate witness. And we are claiming that whole world is illusion only, the product of our own ignorance or collective ignorance, including our body, mind, senses, ignorance. So the question is very, very valid that how an inactive Brahman can create the whole universe and can make it sensitive, sentient. This is a real question. The thing is, with regard to these moot questions, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji maintains an attitude of enlightened, agnosticism. That is to say, he sees the logical impossibility of determining the precise relationship between Brahman and the relative universe, for there cannot be any relationship between reality and appearance. But the ignorant sees the manifold universe. Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji calls this Maya. Maya cannot be known. If it is known, it cannot be explained. In order to determine the relationship of the absolute to the visible universe, The finite mind would have to know the infinite absolute. And when the absolute Brahman is known, the finite universe and the finite mind cease to exist. Therefore, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji does not advance any explanation of creation. Even in Upanishad also, you will find in Taittiriya Upanishad, the theory of creation is different. In Chandogya Upanishad, it is different. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, it is different. Why that difference? Because Upanishadic rishis are also not very interested in creation. What is there? They dealt with the absolute. The Samkhya philosophers describe the universe as the modification of Prakriti or nature. This is Samkhyan philosophy. It describes the universe as the modification of Prakriti or nature. According to them, the cause manifests itself as the effect. The effect, before it is produced, exists as the cause only. Clear? According to another school of philosophers, which includes the dualists, Dvaitavadi, and the theists, the universe, according to them, the universe did not exist before it was created. The effect is non-existent before it is produced. Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji, on the other hand, points out the utter impossibility of the finite minds ever understanding the nature of the universe in terms of the causal relationship. He speaks of the universe as Maya. Why? Because as every thoughtful man knows, even while perceiving it with his senses, its nature is impermanence. Its nature is impermanence. When Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji calls the universe as Maya, he is only stating a fact. He is only stating a fact, namely the fact that the one appears inexplicably in Anirvachaniya Rupa as many. When a snake is beheld in place of a rope, The phenomenon may be described as Maya, but this does not imply any explanation of how or why the rope should thus appear. Sometimes it appears as broken branch. Sometimes it appears to someone else as the dried garland, or some people appear as there is a crack on the earth. Anything. And why that sort of thing comes in mind, there is no explanation. That's why it is inexplicable. It states only a tangible fact. In the same sense, a mirage is Maya. Dream objects are Maya. The creation is Maya. But the Vedantists use such terms as avidya, ajnana, and prakriti. Avidya, ajnana, and prakriti as practically synonymous with Maya. The word Maya generally signifies the cosmic illusion on account of which Brahman, or a pure consciousness, appears as the creator of the universe. Under the influence of avidya or nations, Atma or pure consciousness appears as the jiva or individualized self. Jiva means individualized self. Ajnana is the ignorance which makes the absolute appear as the relative or the one as the many. माया के कारण से एक ब्राह्मण को नाना रूप में देखते हैं हम लोग. एकम सद विप्रा बहुधा वदन्ति. सब तो एक ही है. पूरा जगत उसी का ही नानात्व रूप का भांति है. आभास मात्र, प्रतिबिंब मात्र. बहुत सारे थिंग आज बताया. एक एक फिलॉसफी, आभासवाद, प्रतिबिंबवाद, प्रकृति परिणामवाद. So the word prakriti or matter or nature is used to denote Maya as the material out of which the universe has been created. But in actual practice, these distinctions are not always maintained. The words are often interchanged.